The Real L Word is a historic moment for lesbians on TV. Hey, what's up? I'm Brianne Williamson. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm so excited because today we are officially kicking off our next reaction series to another round of queer, trashy reality television deliciousness. Now, if you missed it, I reacted to every episode of season 2, The Ultimatum Queer Love, and it was a wild ride. But now we are throwing it all the way back to lesbian reality TV history. And I am so excited to announce that in this series, I will be reacting to the episodes right here on my channel. So if you watched my last series, how it went down because of the Netflix rollout and because it was a new show and because of copyright and blah, 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 was you would watch the episode and then you'd come over and just basically hear me recap it with my opinions. This is going to be leveled up, okay? We're going to be watching right here on my channel together. I'm going to have the episodes up on my screen. I'm going to be live reacting as we watch together. And with that, we can chat together as we watch these episodes and break them down. We can give all of our opinions to each other down in the comments. It's going to be really fun. Again, it's like a trashy reality TV sapphic book club of sorts, but there's no reading involved. Now, some of you may be wondering what happened to the I Kissed a Girl reaction series. Now, I did a poll over on my community tab right here on my channel where subscribers could vote on which show they wanted me to react to next. The 3 frontrunners that were in the comments, so I put them in the poll, were the queer season of Are You the One, The Real L Word, and I Kissed a Girl. The votes were so close, okay? Here are the results. They were shockingly close. And, but the show with the slight lead was I Kissed a Girl. So I was like, you know what? I'll go with that. Even though, selfishly, and I've been open about this, I really wanted to do The Real L Word. More on that and the reasons for that a little bit later in this video. However, you know, I wanted to believe in democracy, and I was like, you know what, I'll do I Kissed a Girl, even though I feel like it was a little too recent, not enough of a throwback to react to because I feel like I just watched the damn thing. But, you know, I wanted to give my opinions and watch along with all of you. However, I went to test out filming the first episode and tested it on my channel for copyright in the same way that I did The Ultimatum Queer Love. The BBC does not play with clips being used, okay? I'll tell you that much. And it was much more difficult than I thought it was going to be able to watch along the series. I tried a few different methods. I talked to some friends about how you can do it, and it just seemed like such a meal for my first round of doing a reaction series like this. And honestly, right now, I don't have a whole ton of extra time because, as a lot of you know, I'm in the post for my scripted web series that's coming to my channel this fall called Basement 51 series. It's a series that I wrote, directed, produced, acted in, and we're in post-production right now. So we're editing, we're doing all the sound design, we're preparing screenings, we're preparing the marketing launch, pitch deck for pitching it as a TV series, all of that. All that exciting stuff and information is going to be over on Instagram at Basement 51 series, by the way. Go give us a follow. I would love and appreciate that support so much. Between that, this, life, everything, the time it was going to take to make I Kissed a Girl work, it was giving me a headache already. And I am going to make it work, and it will be the next show that I react to when I have a bit more time after Basement 51 launches in the fall. Then maybe I'll make it like a November, December series, okay? So don't worry. I haven't forgotten about I Kissed a Girl, and I'm sorry to those of you who voted for it that were excited that it won. But I figured since it was by such a small margin, it might be okay if I first do The Real L Word. And again, some of you might not believe me because you know I was pitching The Real L Word from the jump. And here's why. I'll tell you why. The Real L Word is a historic moment for lesbians on TV. The Real L Word came out on the wave of the success of the L Word. So many of us know the L Word as one of the first groundbreaking shows of lesbian representation on TV. I've talked about it on my channel before. When I was first figuring myself out, before I even came out to myself as gay, I found the L Word, and I spent every dollar of my paycheck, okay? I used to work at a coffee shop. I spent every dollar of my paycheck. I did not have a car. This was before the days of being able to ship stuff quickly. And trust me, I also did not at this time want it shipped to my house. So I would take the bus once I got my paycheck at work to the mall that was about half an hour away. I would go to the tech store there in the mall and I would buy the box set for the L Word. And then I would save up again and I'd buy the next box set, the next season. I was obsessed and I watched it secretly under my blankets in my room at the lowest volume setting. I used to have this, let me know in the comments if you remember this. This is aging myself. I had this portable DVD player, not a laptop. It was just a portable DVD player. So it had a screen in the bottom where you could put the DVD in. If you rocked it too much, then the DVD would get all fucked and you'd have to restart it. And I don't know where or how my family acquired this thing, but somehow I got it. I took it for my own keeping and I would use it to watch these shows in my bedroom. And it was the first time I saw myself on screen. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, is there a world where lesbians hang out with other lesbians? Because at this point, the concept of being a lesbian felt so lonely. I wasn't even fully out to myself yet. And I thought, oh my God, if I am gay and I do come out, I'm going to be the only one I know. Because at this point, I didn't know any out sapphic women. I had zero representation around me. And the only representation I started having was when I joined Tumblr. And everyone felt very far away. Everyone was in these long distance relationships. And I still didn't really have a community. So watching the L Word and seeing this group of friends have, the planet where they would go and meet for coffee. They'd go out for drinks together. And there was this web of who was dating who. It seemed so surreal that this could ever be possible for my life. But it definitely helped me figure out who I was. And off of the success of the L Word came the reality show, The Real L Word. So basically the entire concept was that, hey, this show, The L Word, was a hit amongst lesbians. What if we found real people that were kind of living this L Word life in the real world and just followed them like a reality show? So this wasn't a competition reality show. It was just following the storylines of these people's lives. But I want you to remember that this was at the very beginnings of reality TV. These people were much more open than I think most people are these days on reality TV because there wasn't the internet in the way that there is the internet now. And there wasn't the understanding of the reach that having things on film have now. So as much as these days, a lot of these types of shows feel very scripted, and I'm not doubting that some of this show will feel that way when we watch it back. At the time, at least when I watched it, it felt very, very real and raw. Pun not intended. With that said, there's definitely going to be stuff that I have to blur that I won't be able to show on YouTube because it is that juicy in some cases. But at the time, at least, it felt like a very real representation of what my life could look like as an out sapphic woman. And as I watched this series unfold, I did come out, I did find my people, and it was in a lot of ways a very good representation of actually what went down in these sapphic circles. All the drama, the dating, the chaos. For that reason, this show will always hold a special place in my heart, and I'm excited to go back and watch it because I think it was groundbreaking for the time. And it will be fascinating on the flip side to go back and watch it. I'm sure there will be moments that feel problematic, right? That feel like stuff that we would not say today or that would not be okay to do or say today. I think a lot of it will feel toxic. I'm excited to go back and see some of the style choices. What is out that at the time was very in and what is now back in that went out and came back in because a lot of style is coming back around. I think at the end of this series, it'll also be fun for me to do an update video of where this cast is now and what has happened since the series, because obviously a lot of these people have gone on to live very normal lives. Some people are still in the spotlight. This show came out in 2010, okay? It's 2025. I know 2010 sounds recent now, weirdly, but it's really not. 15 years, like a lot can change in terms of what is normal, what is not normal, language that we use surrounding queerness, style choices. And I'm just so excited to go back and watch it for that reason, because while I Kissed a Girl would have been fun and will be fun eventually, I think this is going to be fascinating in a lot of ways, and also just a fun watch because it is such a crazy and kooky reality show. Now, if you've never seen it, don't go and watch it now. Wait until the reaction videos, because like I said, we're going to be watching along with each other. I'm going to be posting a video every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, you can settle in and get ready to watch along with the rest of us right here on my channel. And with that, I will, just like with the ultimatum, be sending out watch along games that this time you can use while you watch the episodes right here on my channel. These games are sip along games, so you can get yourself a beverage and you can sip along as we watch together. And also bingo cards. So if you're watching with friends, you can play along with the bingo. Now the bingo, this time, since we're watching along together, will have things to do with the show and also things to do with my channel. So things that I do all the time, mannerisms, things that I say, and it's a fun way to play along with friends. Hey, also, if you have a long distance partner, this is a great date idea to be doing with them. To get those watch along games, all you have to do is text me L word. If you text me L word, I will send you those watch along games on the first day of the first reaction videos. Yes, those texts are coming from me. It is not a robot. Okay, it is coming from me. So it's just a way of me knowing who wants to receive them. So you don't have to send me L word, L word, L word a million times. I will see it, and I promise I will send you the watch along games on the first day of the first reaction episode. Let's break down the cast a bit. And before we jump in, I'm going to tell you from memory how I feel about some of these cast members. Now, when this show first came out, it was obviously, as I mentioned before, reflective of the original L Word. So you could tell that they were casting some of these people for this real L Word in order to fit the roles of the characters on the L Word itself. So for example, Whitney Mixter was clearly cast as the Shane of this show. Sada Simone on the other side was clearly cast as kind of the Carmen, and we see that relationship dynamic of the Shane and Carmen. In this case, Whitney and Sada relationship dynamics sort of unfold. I remember thinking Whitney in the same way as I thought Shane was the coolest when I watched the L Word. I remember thinking Whitney was just like the coolest. I had a crush on Whitney. I was pretty obsessed, and I was infatuated. I will say that much. I'm curious to go back and see what that looks like on my screen now, because at the time I just remember thinking like, oh my God, this is the coolest person ever, and I'm overwhelmed. Definitely one of my first lesbian crushes. I will say that. We also had some cool representation for the time from my memory of Casey and Corey. They were a couple that was together on the show. And from what I remember, they were kind of on a IVF baby journey. So that was something that was really eye-opening to see when I was younger. I don't remember a lot about Rose Garcia on the show. I've actually met Rose Garcia at the Dinah Shore, which I think they visit on this show. It was the first I ever heard of the Dinah Shore. And then since then, I was actually invited as an influencer to go to the Dinah Shore. So I remember that feeling like a full circle moment. Like, oh my God, I've made it as a lesbian. I don't know. Because I dreamed when I was younger in the closet of going to the Dinah Shore with a group of lesbian friends, because I watched people on shows like The Real O Word do that. And so then when I was actually like an out lesbian going with friends to the Dinah Shore, I was like, oh my God, this is like a healing moment for me. Rose Garcia often hosts at the Dinah Shore. So I've met Rose Garcia. I don't remember how she was on the show. I remember her being chaotic, but I don't remember a whole ton of it. I remember Corey and Casey kind of being the wholesome couple, and then we had Whitney and Sada being the kind of Shane and Carmen up and down couple, and Rose I don't remember specifically. And then we have Romy. Okay, Romy I remember kind of chasing after Whitney. That's what I remember from the show. Potentially being in some sort of a love triangle with Whitney and Sada. I think it kind of got messy there. But as an overview, this show has such a special place in my heart. So it's kind of scary to go back and watch it, because I feel like in a lot of ways I might not like it in the same ways. I think it's kind of like being an adult and going back to your favorite place as a kid and it doesn't look as big or special as you remember it, because when you're a kid, it's like, wow, and it's huge and it's special. The playground feels like it goes on for eternity. And then when you get older, you're kind of like, oh, that's it? Okay. I might have that reaction. I'm almost nervous of having that reaction. Or I might be pleasantly surprised and be like, yeah, this is just as entertaining and awesome. But either way, I'm excited to go back and watch something that was such a huge part of my coming out journey, my self-discovery, like thinking back to a special song from a special summer that just transports you. You know, when you hear a song on a radio and you're like, oh my God, I'm there again. I feel like this is going to be that experience for me. So it might bring up a lot of emotion. It's definitely going to bring up a lot of opinions. I might be like, oh my God, I felt this way about this person when I was that age. That's so crazy to see how my opinion has now changed. All around, I'm so excited. I'm fascinated. I can't wait to dive into the show, and I can't wait to do it with all of you. So to break it down again, I'm going to be here every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Plan your watch parties, get your snacks ready, get your beverages, text this number. I will send you the watch along games so you can watch with your partner, with your friends, and then I will be here every Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for all the episodes of this series, reacting, watching along with all of you. Make sure that you're subscribed, that you turn your post notifications on. Go give at Basement 51 series a follow over on Instagram. Give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know, have you watched this series before? When did you watch it? How long ago was that? Is this going to be your first time? And I will see you all for the kickoff for this reaction series. See you then. Bye.